Thank you for joining us. We will allow a few more moments for everyone to join, and we'll begin shortly. Hello again. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Alex Favsovich. I'm the head of fraud risk here at Unit21. I'm a fraud prevention practitioner for the past 16 years. So did everything from fraud operations, analytics, building and designing fraud strategies. I've been with Unit21 for the past 4 years. Um, Today, I'm joined by Janet Cheng, our solution engineer. Janet, would you like to say a few words about yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Janet, a solutions engineer here at Unit21. Worked with many of our customers to set up their AML and fraud programs and prepared hopefully an engaging demo for you today. Yeah.
Thanks, Janet. So today we're going to dive into how designing smarter watchlist screening with built-in intelligence can help your financial institution. This webinar will showcase the different products and features that we offer for watchlist screening. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. This session will be is being recorded actually, and will be shared with the audience after we're done here. We will hold a live Q&A at the end of the webinar, so if you have any questions, please use the Q&A button at the right end of your screen, and we will do our best to answer all of your questions live. If for some reason you're experiencing any technical difficulties, you can scroll down to the FAQ section. It has a lot of useful resources for you to figure out what's not working right. And also take a look at our resource section. We have case studies there that might be interesting for you. But I think let's get started. Um, for those of you who are not familiar with Unit21, um, let's take a look at what Unit21 is. So we see ourselves as a unified fraud and AML platform. And what you see on the screen is basically how Unit21 approach risk and compliance in modern financial ecosystems. What you're seeing here is our end-to-end infrastructure, how we ingest, analyze, detect, and act on risk signals all in one platform. The foundation of Unit21 starts with data ingestion. So we are taking a huge pride of us being very data agnostic. And we know and understand that many financial institutions have many different data types. So, starting from third-party data to your customer data, device intelligence, transactional activity, behavior signals, your KYC, KYB data that you get from onboarding, event logs, user action. Everything sits in different databases and not always approachable. So Unit21 make it simple to bring all that data into one platform, whether you use our API integrations, flat file ingestions, or integrations with the many partners that we have. And at the center of Unit21, what you see in the middle of the screen is all the different products and features we offer for risk and compliance professionals to work on their day-to-day assignments. So starting with AI agents for automation and alert triaging, we have a case management solution that will help you to run investigation from beginning to end, transaction and real-time monitoring. So you can deploy rules without the need of writing any code. Device intelligence and behavior analysis for fraud signals. We have customer risk rating to measure entity level risk. We also have a fraud consortium product that is pretty much a network of shared intelligence. And the final product that we will deep dive in today is watchlist screening for sanctions and PEP. The outputs of the work of the operational work in Unit21 is usually the results of data analysis. So how alert was investigated and what is the end result of that investigation. We do offer direct filings with the regulators. But also many financial institutions take those insights and automate them via a webhook back to their backend system. So for example, if you conduct real-time monitoring with Unit21, you can have set up webhook to take actions on your backend with those real-time alerts. But usually all the operational outputs are fully audited. So all the work that is done by the agents, whether it's fraud agents or AML agents, you have full audit logs for all the work that is being done. All right, so watch list screening, right? Why this is matter? To be honest, watch list screening remains one of the most critical controls in financial crime prevention. And it's not because regulators demand box checking, but because the cost of getting it wrong it's really asymmetric. A single sanctioned entity or high-risk step slipping through the cracks can be a real, regulatory impact for you. It can create reputational damage, forced remediation that will impact your whole business. And that said, if we look at the market of watchlist screening and how it's been sold for financial institutions, it was actually failing right in the opposite direction. Now, if you were lucky enough to buy a watchlist screening solution in the past 10 years, it was pretty much like, we got the list, you can watch them. That's it, right? Now, on a more serious note, like it's more than data. It's more than having access to the list that you actually want to watch. And legacy solutions offer overly broad matching, they offer static thresholds. They always try to bring like a one size fits all rules that will generate a lot of false positives for your team. And this will impact your onboarding, it will impact your day-to-day monitoring, and will create a lot of friction for your legitimate customers. So usually what people do when they think about watch list screening is they think like, okay, I have a list of, let's say, 100 or 200 lists that I have to monitor, and the thought ends there. What we will try to show you today with Unit21 is how you can break down watch list screening into several different aspects and how to use it in a very smart way so you create a lot of efficiency and you make a lot of sense of the all of the operational work that is done by the teams. Now we have two poll questions for the audience here, so please be kind enough and go over to the polls tab on the right hand of your screen, and you will see we have two questions for you. So question number one is, what is your biggest goal for improving your screening program? And question number two is, what screening types do you use today? I will allow a few moments for you to answer, and we'll go over the results. I see some answers coming in. All right, so let's take a look. So with question number one, what is your biggest goal of improving your screening program? It seems that reducing false positive is taking the lead with 46%, and coming on second place is incorporating AI for automation. Very interesting. For question number two, what screening types do you use today? So a combination of any of the above. So it does seems like most of you concerned with onboarding, ongoing, payment screening, and ad hocs. Very interesting. So with regards to to question number one, it really leads me directly to the philosophy of how we think about products and features. And in Unit 21, when our product team is building and developing something new, we always ask ourselves, um, what the agent or the analyst will actually gain from it. How do we enable them to make their job better? And so for this product of watchlist screening, our goal is to improve the precision of the watchlist screening without slowing your business down. So how do we help bring down the false positives? How do we help to bring down the handle times? And how do we make sure that you are audit ready in any time? And it's pretty much like giving you the results you want and giving you the results, those results fast. So thank you all for participating in our polls. Now let's run a small overview of what we offer at Unit 21 for watchlist screening. And followed by that, we will have Janet to showcase the demo of how the product is actually looks like in the platform. So like you've already guessed, Unit 21 offers all-in-one solution um, that allows you to screen throughout the customer lifecycle. So we start with onboarding screening, right? So you have, you know, any scenario that you can use with a real-time API to check when you do the onboarding. So whether it's KYC, KYB, and you want to make sure that this person is not on the list, you can do it with real-time with our real-time API. We have our ongoing screening, which is pretty much our bread and butter. And was the very first offering of Unit 21, where you can have daily batches to screen your existing customers and existing entities on your platform. And on the newer side of things, we're now offering also payment screening. So with real-time API, you can screen on a transaction level and detect potential risk at the point of transaction. And also ad hoc screening. So manual one-off screening directly built in our UI. Really good for like vendor checks, audits, internal reviews. If you are monitoring for fraud rings, or like you, for example, looking for one-to-many, many-to-one investigations, and you want to understand all the counterparties that transacting with one another, this is a really great tool for you to use as ad hoc screening. And those are the use cases. So basically, if you have a new customer sign up, you will probably want to use our onboarding screening because it's fast and it gives you a real-time result whether or not you should onboard that person. Ongoing screening, so daily monitoring, and with ongoing screening, as Janet will show us in the demo, there's a lot of flexibility to how to create your ongoing screening. It's not just, hey, let's screen everyone, all our customer base. It's very flexible and allows you to play with the different thresholds and different segments of your customer population and who you want to screen and which lists you want to screen against. On the payment side of things, so transactional review, if you have high risk inbound or outbound transactions, you can use our payment screening. And ad hoc is really on demand for any investigation purpose that you might have. Now, with the dynamic watch list rule configuration, the key features here is, first of all, is entity filtering. So you can really choose which type of entities will be filtered, will be monitored. For example, you might say, hey, I want to watch list only active users, or I want to monitor any subsegment of my customer base. And for different subsegments, you might be want to monitor them against different lists. This by default creates a lot of efficiency because you don't have to screen everyone against all the lists, which usually generate a lot of false positive, but you can really be precise about what you want to monitor and how you want to do it. And outside of that, we can also offer a very configurable match threshold. So there's different way for you to create the precise point of how many results or what's the accuracy level that you want to generate. Now, in terms of investing efficiency in investigations. We offer very cool tools for the investigators. So starting from like side-by-side comparison and really showcasing how the display for the agent makes them understand what was the result of the screening and how it what's the associated risk with that entity. Then obviously on the operational side of things, integrating alerts to case workflow. So say we created a watch list alert, we review it, there's a need to create a case. So how you can easily go from alert to case and start going deep into investigation if there's a need for that. And also everything is backed by audit logs. So how do you explain to the auditors and the regulators what was monitored, what was screened, what was the result of that screening? Everything is backed by audit logs. And the final slide that I have for you before we jump into the demo, and I know that from the question number one in the poll, a lot of you are interested in how to incorporate AI solution into watchlist screening. So when it comes to AI, we deeply committed to responsible AI at Unit21, and our approach was always accuracy plus oversight equals trust. Now we have what we call bring your own agent. And for watchlist, those agents live on the alert level. And basically what they do is that they mimic a trained compliance analyst and they assist you in investigating matches using field level logic. They also provide like explainable decision, and it's not like a black box outcome. So everything that the AI agent finds and recommends is written in English that is very easy to understand. And it really helps to kickstart the investigation, create efficiency, and reducing a lot of noise for the agents and the analysts who work in those alerts on a day-to-day basis. What you see on the screen right now is use case from one of our partners, Center of Payments, that incorporated Watchlist recently. And as you can see on the screen, basically they're saying that integrating OFAC and sanction screening directly into our transaction monitoring platform allows us to manage all the reviews in one place, making oversight faster, stronger, and more efficient. And if you want to read about more different stories, you can scroll down to the resources at the bottom of the screen, and there's more case studies for you over there. But I think let's move to the demo, and Janet can showcase everything I just described in the past couple of minutes. So Janet, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Alex, and thanks for sharing that context for the audience here today. All right, so I'm actually going to jump into the system to show you how practically this works in Unit 21. So I'll walk through how sanctions and watchlist screening works in practice. I'll take you through the full life cycle or the journey of the customer's life cycle, starting with onboarding. So with onboarding, this is typically your first line of defense. You're screening a customer before they're onboarded or before they're allowed to start transacting on your platform. And the goal here really is to what Alex mentioned, speed without compromising accuracy or compromising quality of the screening. So we want to be able to screen individuals or legal entities against these watch lists, do in real time so that you can quickly come to a decision of whether you need to take action. Do we want to onboard them? What kind of risk would onboarding this type of entity be if you did accept them as a customer? You know, are they a PEP? Is there any adverse media that we found about this customer or about this potential customer that you're onboarding? And how it works in Unit 21 is we have a one-time quick setup here. So I think Alex was mentioning the flexibility that you have in setting up your how you want to screen, who you want to screen, what do you want to screen for, and how do you want to screen. And this is kind of one of the prongs of our two-prong approach to reducing false positive. I know in the poll, many of you mentioned that that was the number one reason You want to reduce false positives, and also look at using AI for automation. So the first prong here is this configuration, having full control on who you want to screen, what you want to screen, how you want to screen. And then I'll show you a little later in today's demo, kind of the second prong to our approach, which is leveraging AI to help you very quickly identify false positives. So the first part is really the detection side. So being able to control, well, who do I want to screen? Like Alex mentioned, you can select a subset of your customers. So for example, for any internal accounts, I may not need to do any kind of screening for them. So, or I screen them differently. So I could mention for any internal type accounts, let's ignore those. If you do have operations in different jurisdictions and you do need to screen customers against different lists based on the jurisdiction, we could also support something like that for customer segmentation. So for example, for my US operations, this is the settings, or these are the lists that I want to screen against. So the first part is, who do you want to screen? Well, what do you want to screen? I want to screen individuals or legal entities. And specifically, I want to do sanction screening. We support PEP and adverse media as well. I'll quickly go through each one here. For sanctions, well, how do you want to screen them? Is it just the name? Do you have their date of birth, their country, or their address? This will help, of course, the more you select here, the more or the higher confidence of the match would be. And then how fuzzy do you want the match to be? So again, it goes to how you want to screen. The higher the number, so for example, 10, this is pretty much almost an exact match. So the higher the fuzziness is, the higher confidence the match is. The lower the number, the wider net that we cast, there might be more potential matches that we find. So it's a trade-off, a balance between risk and operations. Higher number, of course, less false positive, higher confidence match, but you might miss something, versus a lower threshold, wider net, you might get a lot more alerts that you need to look into. So how do we balance that? But no worries, Unit21 actually allows you to do some testing before you deploy into production. So I'll show you that in a sec as well. But the last setting here is, well, how do you want to screen? Well, what list do you want to screen against? So we support over 140 global lists. In my case, I think I selected US. If I'm looking at my US operations, I want to screen against the OFAC list. But again, we have over 140 lists to screen against. And just quickly show you the options for PEP. So for PEP, what level of PEP? It's international, local politician, related family members. So you can select the level here as well. And then for adverse media, what category do you want to be alerted on? Now, as I mentioned, maybe I should go back to the sanctions piece here. I'll just select all my lists here. Now, once you do this one-time setting, as I mentioned, we do allow you to do some level of testing here. So when you hit next, it'll give you a chance to give this rule a name, so that when an alert gets generated, you know why. And it does give you an opportunity to do some level of testing before you deploy this configuration or this setting going forward. I'm going to switch my screen over. I've pre-tested or validate one of my configurations earlier. You'll see here Unit21 will give you a preview, essentially. If you do deploy this setting, this is the type of alert or the volume of alert that you'll likely get. So in my case, had I deployed that exact configuration, I would have gotten 21 alerts. And this is where we're using AI to help with investigating and identifying true matches and false positives. So out of the 21 that I would have gotten alerted on, had I turned on this rule, it looks like our AI agent has done a quick run through on the potential matches, and it's let me know that 20 of the 21 look like it will likely be a false positive, where one is a true positive. So pretty high false positive rate here. So this is kind of our two-prong approach. One is the configuration piece. So perhaps I do want to go ahead and take the AI suggestion and change my threshold to 3. So I think I left it at, let me go back here. I had it at -5, like that's probably not the right balance here. So this is one way we can help you with reducing false positives while using AI to help you with that with your configuration. I'll show you the second prong approach a little later, where when we do identify or alert you of a potential match, how we can quickly help you identify whether it's a true or false positive. So I'll show you that a little later on. But this one-time setup, we help you with this. Our implementation manager will help you with this. Once this is set up for onboarding purposes, essentially how this would work is when you do have a prospective customer signing up for an account on your platform, you can forward their information to us through API. And in under a second, our API will respond back with no matches at all, which means from this perspective, all good. You can move on to your next step of the onboarding process. Or in the API, it would say, yes, we did find a match, in which the system will then automatically create an alert to let you know something you need to investigate. So either you could use that decision to reject the application, or come into Unit21's case management and do a manual review before you make a decision to approve that applicant or not. Now this alert, you get a nice little overview of who, what, when, why. So this is an onboarding sanctions match. If I scroll down further, I'd be able to see the match details side by side. So it looks like the particular applicant here is Igor on the left, the information I gather from the onboarding process, and on the right is the sanctioned individual. So I can do a side-by-side match along with understanding why and when this person was placed on the sanctions list. And through my investigation, if it is a true match, I can go ahead and mark that as a true match, and we can also send a webhook to your system to go ahead and reject that applicant as an example, or clear it. It's actually not the same person, so we can move on with our onboarding process. Now, if you have, during our onboarding process, if certain names pop up and you need to do one-off investigations or ad hoc and look up another related party that you found during your onboarding process, we have our ad hoc screening capability here, very similar to the configurations you saw earlier. I can specify who do I want to screen. In this case, I'll just use Igor again here. So if I wanted to search this name, do I want to do sanctions, PEP, or adverse media? And what list do I want to screen against? So again, I'm just going to select all here. Oops. Hitting on search, in a few seconds here, I got my results back. So you can see very similar results as the other example I gave. Now, for the ad hoc, you can do a quick search and find out if there's a match. If you do need to do a deeper investigation, you do have the option to go ahead and create that alert as well and direct it to a specific alert queue to route it to a specific team that will handle this investigation. So very similar to what we saw earlier, a little quick summary of who, what, when, why. and the side-by-side comparison here.
And we have a question from Missy who asks, does it automatically run the new customer against sanctions with the rule, or do you have to do an ad hoc? If automatic, is it real time or daily? So let's separate, because I think there's a couple different products. The onboarding screening is a real-time API. You set up the rule, it runs automatically each time you have a new applicant coming through the system. The ongoing screening is daily. You don't have to run it in real time. You set it up for a daily cadence, and it runs against all the different parameters that you define within the rule, just like Janet showcased. On the payment side of things, you can have it run in real time with our real-time API. So when the transaction comes in, part of the authorization flow, you can run against any list that you want. And the ad hoc screening is obviously a manual one-off on-demand solution that you use whenever you need to use it.
That's correct. And once you've onboarded a customer, they automatically will enroll into the ongoing daily screening based on the parameters of who you want to screen. And I'll show that in a sec as well. So onboarding through API real time, let's say you've now onboarded a customer and they've started to transact. We support real-time payment screening so that you can identify whether funds are coming from a counterparty that's sanctioned, or if your customer is sending funds to someone that's a sanctioned individual. And this is through API and real time, so you can do this before funds are released. So looking at payment screening, very similar to the onboarding. It's an API. You send the details to us through the API. In under a second, we tell you if there's a match or no match on the counterparty. If there is a match, the system, again, will automatically create an alert that looks like this, what you're seeing on my screen here. So a match was found during transaction screening for this particular transaction ID. And the transaction in question here is an outgoing wire. So it looks like your customer, Olivia, is sending some funds to Igor. And Igor's been flagged. If I scroll down further, we'll see that side-by-side comparison again. So this is just a name screen of the counterparty, but very similar UI here. And of course, again, when you do your investigation and you do find that it is a match, a true match or not a match, we can send a webhook back to your system to actually deny that transaction or allow that transaction through. So this will help you streamline your process. Now the last piece, so you've onboarded them, they start transacting. At onboarding, just because they weren't on a sanctions list doesn't mean they might not be placed on one, or they don't become a PEP, or there's any new adverse media on them. So we do daily ongoing screening continuously. It's automatic. You don't have to do anything. The system will update our lists every day, and we'll screen your customers every day. If there is a match, the system will just automatically generate an alert to let you know you need to investigate. So what you're seeing on my screen here is our dashboard of investigations. So I do have an alert here for sanctions. And so now I'm going to go into the second prong approach to helping you reduce false positives or manage your false positive rates. You can see here, my AI agent has actually gone ahead and done an analysis and think that this is a false positive match. But let me go ahead and see what it's found here. So if I'm reviewing the AI agent's breakdown here, it's found that the customer in question, and sorry, let me just scroll down here so you can see. On the left, that's my customer, Andrew Johnson. On the right, there's a Johnson Andre, who's a sanctioned individual. if I take a look at my AI agent, it's found that the name is quite similar, but it's a unlikely match because it has a lower match score of -1. There is no date of birthday match, and there's no address match here. So it does believe that based on these differences, it's not the same individual. So this is the second prong approach to helping you manage your false positive. One was the configuration. I likely had a rule that had too low of a matching or fuzzy matching threshold. So that would have been caught by the validation that I did on my rule. But had I missed that and gone through, I have my AI agent who will also be able to help me do this quick analysis and help me be able to identify what alerts or which matches I should focus my time on. This one I likely shouldn't need more than a few minutes to focus my time on because it's very clear that it's not the right match here. So I can go back and focus on all my alerts that the AI agent is actually recommending me to take a closer look at. Oh, actually, I focused a lot of my time on the sanctions hits. Thought I'd switch gears a little and show you an example of a PEP and an adverse media alert as well. So very similar. Get a nice summary who, what, when, why. This is a PEP check on a person, my customer here that was flagged. So there it looks like there's multiple hits. And again, a side-by-side comparison. The only difference with the PEP is you'll be able to see what that relationship is. So in this case, flagged as a politician in China. And then for an adverse media hit, I'll switch my screen here. You get a nice summary of what the article's about with source links or links to the source as well. So that's kind of the full life cycle of watchlist screening your customer from onboarding to when they start transacting, to ongoing daily screening, and if you need an ad hoc, if you need to do any one-offs or manual screening.
Thank you so much, Janet. And I think it demonstrates most of all that watchlist screening is not just about having the access to the list, is what you can actually do and what actions, what operational actions you can take while monitoring those lists. So now we will move to the Q&A part of our webinar. So if you have any questions, please submit them via the Q&A button. I see we have any questions from Nadine that asks any guidance on how to properly audit this process, and is there an end of the report for this review? So in terms of regulatory guidance, we do not provide that because it really depends on the jurisdictions where you operate. I want you to think about this as an operational tool for you to deploy your strategy and how basically you want to watch list screen your customers or prospective customers in a better, more efficient way. In terms of reporting, you can use the dashboards in Unit21 for any reporting purposes. You can also export those alerts and ingest them into your internal data visualization system. So definitely those solutions are in place today.
Yeah, and just to add to that, there is an audit log of when something was screened, or like when a customer was screened, what was the screening result. So if you ever get audited or go through an exam, you can easily pull up that report to present to the auditor or examiner.
All right. So if you want to learn more, we're more than happy to show you an in-depth demo of how it actually looks and answer more specific questions that you might have for us that you may not want to share here with the wider audience. And if you book a demo with us with Unit21, we will be more than happy to send you this very cool I Love AML t-shirt. So don't be shy. You have the button appearing on your screen right now where you can click and book a demo. We'll be more than happy to talk to you. But otherwise, I think this is all what we have for you today. So thank you so much for joining us. Janet, thank you so much for the great demo. It was very insightful, and I hope it helped folks understand how to make more out of watch list screening and turn it into something more insightful and operationally insightful for their business. And we will see you at our next webinar. So thank you so much for joining and have a great day.